The Pilgrims left England seeking religious freedom. Their journey was hard, and their first winter in the New World was even harder. But they trusted God's plan, even when half of their number perished. During their first winter, the Pilgrims survived on dried biscuits, salted meat, and a little beer brought from England. In the spring, a Wampanoag man named Squanto came to help. Squanto spoke English, a miracle the Pilgrims saw as God's provision. He taught them to grow crops like corn, beans, and squash. Squanto introduced them to a method of planting corn with fish as fertilizer, ensuring a better harvest. The Pilgrims and Wampanoag formed an alliance of mutual aid. They worked the land together, combining their knowledge and skills to prepare for a plentiful harvest. Though they were different, both groups understood the value of peace and cooperation, a lesson we can all carry forward. When the harvest came, the Pilgrims invited the Wampanoag to join in a feast of thanksgiving to God. The Wampanoag brought 5 deer, which were roasted over open fires. Venison, deer meat, wild fowl, turkey, ducks, geese, possibly swans. Wild turkeys were much leaner and faster than today's farm-raised ones. Catching one required skill and patience. Corn, a gift from the Wampanoag, was made into porridge or flatbread. This staple food nourished the Pilgrims after months of hunger. Cornmeal porridge, ash-baked corn flatbread. Corn was ground with stones into a fine meal and cooked with water to make a warm, filling dish. Living near the coast, they enjoyed seafood like mussels, clams, and fish. These gifts from the sea added variety to the meal. Clams, mussels, cod, and possibly lobster. In colonial times, lobster was so common it was used as fertilizer or fed to prisoners. The Wampanoag taught the Pilgrims about the 3 sisters: corn, beans, and squash. These crops, grown together, were essential to their survival. Squash, roasted or boiled, beans cooked with herbs. The 3 sisters were planted together to support one another. Beans enriched the soil, corn gave beans a place to climb, and squash shaded the ground. And God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees that bear fruit." Genesis 1:11. Before the feast began, the Pilgrims prayed, thanking God for his provision and the friendship of their new neighbors. It was a moment of unity and gratitude. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Psalm 100:4. Many of the foods we associate with Thanksgiving weren't there. No potatoes, no pies, and no sugar for cranberry sauce. Missing: potatoes, not yet introduced. Cranberry sauce, no sugar. Stuffing: only herbs and onions might have been used. The Pilgrims likely roasted pumpkins and filled them with milk, honey, and spices to make an early version of pumpkin pie. The bond between the Pilgrims and Wampanoag wasn't perfect, but for a time it brought peace. Together, they gave thanks to God for the blessings of the harvest. God calls us to love our neighbors and seek peace, just as the Pilgrims and Wampanoag did. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5:9. The first Thanksgiving reminds us to trust in God's provision, seek peace with others, and give thanks in all things. May we always remember to celebrate the blessings of life, just as they did. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Psalm 107:1. Thank you for exploring this story of faith, food, and friendship. Join Feasts of the Past for more historical journeys to the table.